Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Tammy Turner. I'm the Community Education Manager here for Hospice of the Chesapeake. And today I am joined by Roberta Rook. So Roberta, thanks for coming. Roberta is a bereavement program coordinator at the Chesapeake Life Center. And we're going to start with Roberta talking a little bit about you and your background and how long you've been here and sort of who you are.
Thank you, Tammy.
Sure.
Well, I'm Roberta Rook, and as Tammy said, I am the bereavement program coordinator. I'm primarily based, we have two major locations, one in Pasadena and one in Largo. I'm primarily based in the Largo office in Prince George's County, and I've been there for 17 years. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor, and I came to the program in Prince George's County not long after its inception. It was started in August of 2001, and there was a counselor hired to help with bereavement at that location, and she was called away on 9/11, shortly after 9/11, because she was in the Air Force Reserve. And so I was called in to fill in for her, and I guess the rest is history.
Yeah. So we were chatting a little bit before we got started, and you were saying that you've actually been through the evolution of the Chesapeake Life Center having a different name. So when you started, what was share a little bit about that? I thought that was interesting.
Well, when I started, we were initially known as the Spiritual and Bereavement Care Center. And our department included the hospice chaplains. And then our department grew and we became known as Life Center. Then we morphed into the Chesapeake Life Center. And I think that also helped to tie us into the name that our overall organization has, which is Hospice of the Chesapeake.
Perfect, that's great. So today's discussion is going to focus really on our Largo office, some of the programs and services that we offer there, and one that we're going to sort of highlight today is called Soulcollage. So we're going to start with a little bit about the Largo office and programs, but what I'd like to invite everyone to do is if you think that this information might be helpful to someone you know, please share the video, like us, feel free to comment, ask us questions as we're talking about this. I'm excited to learn about Soulcollage because I don't know anything about it. So we're going to get started with talking a little bit about the overall programs. What are some of the things offered in the Largo office?
Well, we offer support groups, and currently we have two general ongoing bereavement support groups. One is a morning group and the other is an evening group. The morning group, actually our morning group will be meeting tomorrow morning. They meet from 10 to 11:30 every second Thursday of the month, and then every fourth Thursday evening of the month, our evening group meets from 6 to 7:30. We also recently started a group for people who have experienced a sudden loss, and that can be a loss through various types of losses are covered, not only losses through homicide, suicide, overdose death, accident, but also people who have experienced a sudden loss through natural causes such as a heart attack or a stroke of a loved one. And we also offer individual counseling at our location as well for both hospice family members and for the community at large in the Prince George's community. And finally, we offer Soulcollage groups once a month, and they are almost always, except when there's a holiday, the first Monday evenings of the month from 5 o'clock to 7:30 in the evenings.
I want to back up a little bit. You were mentioning the support groups that are offered in the morning and the evening. Are they just for any type of grief support? Does it cover ages or gender?
Of grief support, yes, any type of grief support. They are for adults. We do occasionally offer specialized children's workshops and programs, and but it can cover any kind of loss of a loved one to a death.
Okay, all right. So before we start getting into, I'm so excited to talk about Soulcollage, but before we dive into that, let's just mention where the office is.
Yes.
In Largo. So you said it's pretty centrally located?
Yes, so Largo is pretty much central Prince George's County. We are at 9500 Medical Center Drive. It was formerly known as Arena Drive.
Okay.
And it is close to, we are going to have a new hospital built, Capital Region Medical Center, unless they change the name of the road. Off the Beltway, it's exit 16, and it's still called Arena Drive.
Okay.
At the Beltway. So it's easily accessible to major highways, and also to 202, 214, and so forth.
And one of the other things that we were chatting about before, if people are interested in services or programs, especially for the special programs, they do need to register.
Absolutely.
And there are a couple ways to do that. Always can look for special events on our Facebook event page for Hospice of the Chesapeake, and you'll see all the events that are happening at the Chesapeake Life Center. In addition, you can always access ChesapeakeLifeCenter.org and find information there too, as well as what's going on for programs and events. Okay, so we've kind of covered all of that. Now we can get into the stuff I want to really learn about, the Soulcollage. So I know we offer the group in Largo, and we're going to be doing a workshop.
Yes, next Tuesday.
In Pasadena. Okay, so walk me through it. I have never heard of Soulcollage, so start from the beginning. Sort of explain to me what it is and how it helps.
Well, Soulcollage is a trademark process that utilizes collage to help people create a visual journal of their lived experience.
Okay.
So while it is collage making, it is a lot more than collage making, and it enables people to collage about all kinds of elements of their lived experience and their relationships with loved ones, both living and deceased, a way to honor those people through collage, as well as to explore deeper themes around the patterns in their life.
Okay. So it's definitely more
Yes.
internal versus external, like so more reflection on their own personal experience.
Yes, and there are both elements to Soulcollage. So there's both a creative external element where people are sitting together and in process,
Okay.
and then after the collages are created, then there's a sharing. Now collages can be created either on an individual basis or in a group setting.
Okay.
And then as they create collage, we encourage them to make collages about one aspect of their experience. So if it's grief, maybe a feeling, so a card may be about a feeling, and these are small collages, 5 by 8s.
Okay.
Or it may be about a new direction they are taking through their grief, so it can have both an element of processing the grief and looking towards life, coping as life is now. And that also helps people to kind of synthesize their loss in a different way. They look at all the pieces of their experience and they can bring them together in a new way.
So let's if you can walk me through, I really have some examples here. I'd love to hear sort of the explanation behind it.
Yes, so what we encourage people to do with Soulcollage is not overthink it. It's basically you're making a collage with found images. You can also use photographs if you like. For example, if you're making a collage to honor a loved one, you may use photographs. But if you're making a collage about your internal experience, it could all be magazine imagery.
Okay.
And so it doesn't require artistic experience or any previous craft experience. None of that is necessary. Often people who are creative are attracted to it, but it doesn't have to be that way. And it's an intuitive process, so that means you're encouraged to select imagery that just speaks to you. You don't have to know why at first, and you don't have to have a theme in mind when you start out.
So it's just more sort of instinctive and just
Yes,
going with
yes.
that. All right, before we get into that, I do just want to say, anyone just joining in, reintroduce myself. I'm Tammy Turner. I'm the Community Education Manager here at Hospice of the Chesapeake. And today I'm joined by Roberta Rook, who is the Bereavement Program Coordinator at the Chesapeake Life Center. And you've caught us, we're now in the midst of chatting about Soulcollage and sort of gonna go through a little bit of a couple examples of
Yes.
what that looks like. So we talked a little bit about the process,
Yeah.
and you have several examples here.
Absolutely, and so I brought several of my cards that I've created now these cards have been created over the years, and why are you making them small? I guess that's a question people would have, because as you go, if this becomes a practice of visual journaling, then you will have an entire collection or deck of collaged cards.
Okay.
And so
like a series.
Yes, so you can continue to access those cards. They become your sort of wisdom cards, and you can go back to them if you have questions or you want to deepen your understanding about current situations.
So it's almost journaling your process.
Absolutely, yes.
Through the whole experience. Okay.
Yes, so and so you will be creating a card, and then you're encouraged to speak from the image rather than about the image, and that changes the whole, it's different than just describing what you put in a card, and certainly people do that, but we also encourage them to process the card with I am one who, or I am speaking from the image.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you a couple examples of how it can be applied with grief.
Okay.
And these are my cards that I've made over time, as I said. So my first card that I wanted to show everyone is a card about grief.
Okay.
And so if I say I am the one who, I don't really have to explain why I put everything in there, but I can just tell you I am the one who has known the paralysis of grief. I am the one who has felt myself turn to stone, and I am the one who has found hope to feel better.
So let me look. So just based on, I don't know how close in people could see, but it was a person laying down on the top.
On a couch.
On a couch. The stone is like a statue, the bottom portion of it, and then sort of in the center is a half of a wing of a butterfly. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you, of course, for a butterfly is a big symbol of metamorphosis, and you know, and if you, to me, to put half of it was, you know, about
Not being
partially
fully,
there.
not being fully there.
Partially
I
there.
know we're going to be running out of time soon, but I'd love if you could show maybe one more.
Show one more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you an example of a card made about a relationship with a loved one, and
Okay.
this is my mom, and she's been gone for a couple of decades now, but I did make a card about her using imagery of her.
Okay.
The other imagery rented as magazine imagery.
Okay.
So I speak as her. Obviously I'm speaking as me, but I'm
Right.
also speaking as her through the card. So this card speaks as, I am the one who gave the performance of my life. It was often tragic, but more often vibrant and full of life. It's center stage for all of us. And she says to me, you were a part of my group theater and my dramatic exit. Your father was too, in a strange way. I always loved you. I loved life, nature. I saw the eternal, and I was center stage.
Wow. All right. So a picture of her is in front of a backdrop of like a theater stage, and then you have in the bottom right a picture of a cardinal, and then the left is just a spiral, but
Yeah.
very
It's like
interesting.
an eternity.
Yeah, but sort of a pastel color palette for that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's an example.
Definitely, that's very, just you reading that, like, I would think it's
Powerful, isn't it?
Powerful, yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely.
Yeah, it's very
powerful.
different than me saying, this is a picture of my mother.
Right.
And she really loved cardinals.
Yeah.
I could say that.
Right.
But it's different when I speak from the imagery.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So that, I could see how that could really help people sort of
Yes.
process in a different way.
Yes.
All right, so I know we've got to go, but I just wanted to mention again, the workshop is going to be, I don't think I actually said the date, it's February 19th, and it's from 12:30 to 2:30 in the Pasadena location. So the Largo location has the series going on. We're offering the workshop for the first time here in the Chesapeake Life Center at our Pasadena location. It is listed under Facebook events on our Facebook page, so if you want to check it out there, and pre-registration is required for it. So you can also pre-register by calling, and I think Roberta, you have the number if you want to share
Yes,
that really
and
quickly.
I'm going to attempt to read this without my glasses. 888-501-7077
Okay,
is the
so
number for
that's the
Chesapeake
number.
Life Center.
Awesome. Thank you again for
Thank
coming
you.
and talking
Thank
about
you.
Soulcollage.
Love to talk
Very,
about it.
very interesting. That's the time that we have for today. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon, and be sure to like us, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks again.